Alrighty guys, welcome to our community. This is going to be the very first video in our beginner series where I'm going to break down everything from the fundamentals to the most advanced things. And we're going to start off today with the most basic stuff. But first of all, if you haven't already done so, go check out our amazing new website, elitetradinghq.com. This is where we break everything down, how we trade, what we do, and what we stand for. This is very important to understand if this is something that you want to pursue, or maybe it's not for you. Maybe you just want those quick winners that, short term, but you make some money and you're just kind of going back and forth. And if you want something long term and guaranteed for the long term, this is absolutely for you. Go read up on what we do and why we're different. But first of all, for all those new people that have been asking me all these questions about these specific questions about how you trade, what is this? I want to learn, where do I start? This is the starting block. This is where you're going to learn everything from the ground up. So unfortunately, for all the more advanced viewers and whatnot, we're going to start at the very fundamental. The two softwares we use are primarily going to be TradingView and FX Replay. But for now, really we should only be worrying about TradingView because the backtesting aspect, which is FX Replay, won't come until the later stages when you actually understand what's going on in the market. So it would actually do you a disservice, or it would be bad for you if you started testing right away without knowing what you're looking for. So we're going to jump here into TradingView. This is our main platform. This is what effectively most professional traders use. And you can actually go on their website, This is TradingView. You can go here and get a plan. However, a couple really good things is this is super affordable. Don't think that you have to pay the really expensive plan. I have the premium access, which is I think $600, $700 a year. However, I have a special plan for you guys. So if you go here on our website, we have an amazing affiliate with TradingView, which is going to give you a nice little discount for your beginner. And I think the cheapest plan you can get is about $60 a year, and then throw on, I forgot how large the discount we have is, but a nice little discount. We'll bump it down maybe to $50, something like that. So $50 a year is actually really affordable. Think about how much you can get done. And then I shouldn't really elaborate on this right now, but FX Replay, we also have a deal with them. If you're already at the stage of backtesting, go for it. Here's the link under affiliates. But aside from that, yeah, today we're really going to be focusing on the main attributes of TradingView, how to use it, how I use it, the colors I have, the setup, the tools I use, and whatnot. And I know a lot of people already have used TradingView, so they're very familiar with it. But I want to start from the fundamentals for people that have really never dabbled with any of this. So TradingView, I know many of you guys have also worked with like shady offshore brokers and whatnot. And so this is what most professionals use. You have access to effectively all the markets. And so I have a few notes here on the side that I want to touch on. We'll touch on those and then kind of build off of whatever I think is necessary. So first of all, affordability. A lot of people say TradingView is definitely not affordable. Even if you live in a third world country, I think $50 a year, is pretty affordable. And so on top of our special discount we have. So go ahead, and if you're thinking about taking this seriously, after this video, go ahead and get yourself a plan. You don't even have to buy it. They have the free version, but it's just going to have ads, and you're not going to get a couple of the features which aren't super necessary. So yeah, affordable access, do not worry about that. You can always go with the free plan if you're in a weird financial situation. That's how I started for the first couple of years. Like there was no need for me to pay for all these expensive things. So yeah, that amazing partnership. All right, let's jump into TradingView and show you some of the features that are actually very cool about this platform and why I use it. I've dabbled with other brokers and other platforms, and this has just always done the best. So the very first key feature that I absolutely love about this, which will come in handy in the later stages of your trading, but if you go down here to trading panel, well, first of all, let's start with the very fundamentals. Right here, you just have your chart price action. Usually you're going to have it in regular candlestick form. If you click up here, you can sort through all sorts of market. You want to look at gold, silver, you can filter here, stocks, futures, funds, forex, crypto, indices, bonds, anything economy related, or options. I do not do options, so I never even go on there. But everything else you can mess around with. Like you can go look at stocks. Apple, for example, is a very good example. But yeah, this is amazing. Some really cool features you have here. This is going to be your time frames. You can kind of skip through them. Different indicators. If you want some indicator, you can go to whatever you want. You'll find anything and everything, and you can find like custom indicators too. So if you want like support and resistance, you have all these different people that have programmed their own indicators, and they've published them for people to use, like support and resistance interactive. I do not know what that means, so we'll click on another one. There you go. So you see main key levels of support and resistance, whatever the hell that means, because we don't use that, so don't worry about that. However, if you do know some cool indicators that you've used before, go for it. That's just not what we do here. We stick to very basic rules. Otherwise, we all know that one trader that has 50,000 indicators on their chart and they're still broke. So I used to be one of them. I would know. So, yep, here you have your ticker symbol. If you click right here, this is actually extremely helpful, and you'll see why down the road. But you can see the market hours, and you can see NASDAQ is closed. And then you can change your candle types. I do not really mess around with this. I've used all of them, believe it or not, but this has been through the years learning different things. And yeah, I don't really think you need to worry about any of this. You can use like all these fancy things that truly don't matter because you can call them like second order or second level indicator type things. They're a type of indicator, I guess you could say. Then you got your indicators. You can change all sorts of things, different indicators. Your templates. I personally don't use this, but I know a lot of people use this. You can have different templates that you can save. I just have the same one for everything. Alerts. This is actually going to come very handy, but I'll show you a better way to set alerts. Then if you have, I think, just the basic model, you can click replay. And then down here, you have your low controls. You can go even further back if you want. If you want to analyze some piece of price action, you jump forward and you want to see if there's an entry here for you. So you jump up to the 4 hour. And I know I shouldn't be doing this because we're all beginners right now. So I really shouldn't be jumping into price action the way I am. But potential valid entry over this high, depending on where we open next. I kind of knew it was going to shoot up, but I didn't know that was going to be your entry. And you get a nice little runner. Holy shit, that would have been a real nice entry. Okay, so very, very clean example of how I trade and whatnot. Okay, so that's your replay tool. You can come down here and you can kind of open up different tabs. So if you want to have 2 charts, I personally do not do this. Once again, I feel like it clutters up a little bit much. And if you just want to look at other timeframes or whatever, one really cool feature about this, I forgot how you did it or how you do it, but you can change your settings here for, let me see if I can find it. Here we go. Yeah, so you can sync everything across these two. So if you have the same ticker on both, you can sync their ticker, their symbol, their interval, their time, and then like your cursor will be reflected on this. So here we're looking at, we can jump up to daily on this one, and actually we'd go back and remove the interval. So on this one, we're looking at the daily, and on this one, we're looking at the 4 hour. And so you can see how, if we go to more recent price action, let me get rid of replay so we can see where we're at. You can see your cursor here. So this is daily. I'm looking at the daily, and this 4 hour shows me a lot more clarity. So really cool. I might dabble with this a little bit, but this could be helpful if you have a giant monitor and you just want to see more price action, whatever it might be. But yeah, since I work with so many different timeframes, it wouldn't make sense to have a window for each one of them, and I can jump through them very, very quickly. So cool. I just stick to the one, makes it very clean, very awesome. You have your general settings right here, so you can change all sorts of things. Really don't worry about much of this. Set your time zone correctly. Don't really worry. Like if you want, just copy my settings. I have this like perfected to exactly what I need. One more thing that's going to come in very, very helpful are these lists. So you can create your own list. So you can create a list with this plus sign, and then you can add whatever symbols you want. And that way you have quick access to them. So like on here, I have all the lists for every single asset within one of my brokerage firms that I use. So if I just want to look at silver, otherwise it can get a little tricky because you might click on the wrong contract or whatever it might be, since these are futures. So yeah, Cool. Another really helpful thing is, for example, if you're looking for a trade on, I think silver and gold have been okay recently. Where's gold at? Yeah, so like gold's been phenomenal. If you're just kind of waiting, like personally, I would be waiting for this market to reach some level around here before starting to look for longs. If you simply right click, you get all these cool options and you can click add alert. If you have the more premium version, I think you can set up to like 500 alerts or something. And then I'll get to this in a second, but you can add to your watch list as well. You can look at what drawings you have on here. This is actually really nice, and I'll get to that in a second as well. But where I was going with this is add alert, and then here you can set it every time it crosses or only once after it crosses once. I just do cross once. You create your alert, and then if you have your phone connected to like the phone app, it will also give you alerts. Phenomenal stuff. It actually makes your life so much easier, especially when you're looking at so many different markets and assets. You could be looking at Forex, futures, commodities, whatever it might be, and you know, you just see your alert and you go and do whatever you have to, and the moment it gets hit, you are back in the market. Another really cool thing is these drawings. So if you go up here on your left-hand side, you're gonna get all these different tools. You get your trend line tools, so lines, channels, and pitchforks. Preferably, or mainly, we just use the trend line and the horizontal ray. I don't really use anything else, vertical lines and whatnot. Okay. Going down, you're going to get all sorts of patterns. We also don't use these because in my mind, that is not something that we should use. You want to learn how to properly trade. You're going to want to do it without too many things, right? And so when I first started trading, God, I had so many indicators, structure indicators, all sorts of crazy stuff, and it worked. But you need to get to a point, if you're taking this serious, where you're no longer dependent or codependent on these things, right? Where your profitability doesn't matter on if you're going to have the cool little drawings you have, right? So yeah, and that stems from a deeper understanding rather than just like, hey, I drew my indicator, I drew my head and shoulder pattern and it's going to go. Like, that's just not how I go. Okay, continuing, you're going to get your projections and your positions. And so if you go here on the stars, you'll see stars right next to them. Not on this one. These stars simply mean that they're going to be added to some very like clipboard type thing down here where you can have access to them 24/7. And if you look at the things I have access to, my bad, I have a highlighter, I have a horizontal line, I have a block. These will come in handy when dealing with supply and demand. A little pen so I can annotate what I'm looking at, whatever it might be. Lines. Cool little trick with lines. It took me a while to learn this when I first started. Number one, you can hold the command key to have it glue on to the more recent price action. So like the closest candle, it will glue onto there. And then if you want to draw it straight, you hold shift and then it will hold it horizontally. Or if you want a 45-degree angle, you can turn it this way, or you can also use the command again to glue it to another candle if you guys want to see that. Now currently, we don't really use trend lines like the way many people do. Like we would never draw something like this, but I do use them for other things, which you will see. I have my projection line, so I can kind of draw out what I anticipate the market to do and some more projection stuff. Cool. This is more for me for teaching, so I can show you guys what I expect. Some cool little text. This is cool. I just write some notes in here when I'm backtesting, whatever it might be. I used to use this quite a bit, not anymore, but it's kind of to show what you guys will see later on as Wyckofian accumulations, distributions, reaccumulations, redistributions. And these show a very unique aspect of it, which is called the UTAD or the spring, whatever you might want to call it. Up thrust after distribution, you guys will learn all about it. It is not as crazy as you guys think, but most communities and people make it super crazy, so you kind of get confused and you stay there, right? Of course, they're not going to want you to succeed. But yeah, and then at the very end, we have just our regular position sizing, whatever it might be. And the TradingView is actually phenomenal because if you put in here into your inputs, your account size, so like a 300K, assuming a risk size of like 0.6 is my average, then it will tell you how many contracts or positions to open up. So with gold, you'd open up 1.565 to have 0.6% risk on this stop loss. And if I increase it, your position size is actually going to decrease because you're risking the same amount per pip or per unit of loss, if that makes sense. So really cool stuff. Okay, as we go on, you just get some more cool stuff. Of course, I have text on there and whatnot. Really don't worry about any of this. It's not really helpful. Like, you can lock your drawings to make sure you don't accidentally delete them. And yeah, like I just don't deal with that stuff. So we already covered alerts. We covered our object tree, kind of. So our object tree is simply going to be a list of all the drawings you have on the chart. So let's suppose you have all these different brushes. Wow, I have a lot. You can select all of them, and then you can either delete. So I'll delete them right now, and they're gone. Or another thing you can do is go over here and click the little trash can. You can remove the drawings, remove the indicators, or both. Or even cooler, which I use this a lot for backtesting actually, is you can right click, create a group of drawings, and then you can name this whatever you want. Back in the day, I would call this like backtest trash, just to know not to save it. Okay, you name it whatever you want, and then you can lock it. So that means you can no longer like accidentally delete these things. Oh, I forgot to lock. So yeah, now I can't like delete, right? They're locked drawings, okay? And then on top of that, you can hide them. So they're still going to be there if you need access to them. But let's suppose you're backtesting the same price action over and over again, which I would generally do for refinement. You backtest one price action, you set it in a folder, you hide that folder, and then you can backtest the same price action on the same chart with the same broker or the same provider without having to delete everything. So really, really cool tool that, yeah, like over here, I had another test. Yeah, this was a test I did. That analysis played out phenomenally. These were my entries, more entries, whatever it might have been. Yeah, so this is what I use it for, because down the road, I lock my drawings and I hide them, and then I can come back if I notice a certain type of price action and see, okay, have I tested that yet? So really cool stuff. Maybe on USD/JPY, I might have some demos of that. Yeah, so good data analysis. So if we show it, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. I did my analysis here. And if you go in deeper, you can see more of it. But yeah, these were my drawings. You have your vertical lines, all your positions in here. And you can see, okay, what was I looking for? If I jump down to like the hourly or the 5 minute, hopefully it's not too far back. Okay, maybe the hourly. It was a while ago, so yeah. So as you scope into here, you can see my different positions, like right here, and you can just like go select them all if you just want to throw them in a different set and look at them all. But yeah, really, really cool, helpful. Definitely recommend for you guys to look into this and practice using it. Other thing include my ideas. You can create your own ideas within the market. Don't use that, not really necessary. Then you have whatever all this stuff is, just messages with the community and whatnot. So cool, but yeah, don't use it. You know, you have a lot of people that don't really know what they're talking about, trying to pretend like they do, and then that's just going to confuse you very badly. And then, yeah, like different ideas. Once again, I never touch this. I never publish anything. I just mind my own business in here. And one more thing I really wanted to touch on, let me reset this, is going to be your trading panel. This is going to come in handy so much. So whenever you go to get funded or you sign up with a broker, whatever it might be, you're personally funded, this is my biggest recommendation, try to find a broker that is associated or has some sort of contract with TradingView. And you can use any of these brokers. Usually they're pretty legit if they're associated with TradingView. I know TradeStation is one of the biggest one if you're personally funded, or where's the other one? Trade8 is the one that I use through funded accounts, whatever it might be. You come in here, you click on here, you log in. And the coolest thing is that whenever you place an order on this chart like this, you can click here. Hang on, let me place my order. You click here and you click create limit order, and it will automatically send that order to your broker. And it's actually phenomenal because now I got a message recently and they're like, hey man, like I'm having trouble entering on the 5 minute, and I notice you enter on the 5 minute. Like, how do you place your order so quickly? And so the way I just do it is, let's suppose, I'm gonna replay here real quick. Let's suppose I wanted to take a buy stop over this entry right here. This is an entry I would take. waiting for the next candle to open up and whatever low gets created. So the moment this candle is forming, like let's pretend this candle is forming right now, what I would do is set up a buy stop over here, look at my ATR. ATR is going to be around 0.91. This is actually 2x ATR. So you can go like somewhere within there. I usually do 1 to 2x ATR, so you can just like average half of it, whatever you might want to do. Something like that, half ATR. Then you just place your order, boom. Where is it? I'm not signed in, so it probably won't appear. And I'm on replay too. So yeah, you click place order, you place your stop order. The risk is already calculated depending on what account size you have with your broker. Like it's really smart. And then you just click next, you get tapped in, and you're in. It's that simple. Like you don't have to do all this like risk calculation and all sorts of things. So yeah, we got that out the way. We got our charting tools. Another really cool thing is you have something called a Pine editor right here. And so you can create your own programs and whatnot. I have my own programs here that I personally use. So yeah, this is just a little structure indicator that I put together, but I don't really use it anymore. Mainly I use it for my MAs, literally. I just have 2 MAs on here, and that's really all I use. And aside from that, really that's it with TradingView. One really cool thing that I used to use, which I don't recommend, just given my experience with it, it worked-ish. But if you go to volume profile, that's actually one of the more advanced tools that TradingView has, and I know a lot of traders use it. But for me, I wanted to move away from that because I didn't want that codependency with TradingView. Because just as many people had codependencies with MT5, MT5, if you guys didn't know, a couple years ago was the main platform that most people used to trade, particularly Forex, from what I remember. I used to trade Forex on that. And so what happened with MT5 was regulatory changes caused MT5 to actually have to leave the US. So we worked with MT5, MT4, which is just MetaTrader. And due to US regulations, they had to leave. And yeah, since I'm in the US, that caused some panic for a lot of people because they had all these fancy algorithms and things that they depended on, and they were located here in the US. And unfortunately, they had to stop making money because said company had to leave. And so I don't want that codependency where if TradingView disappears tomorrow, I won't know how to trade, right? And so that's why I built my system this way, because I know that every charting platform is simply going to have volume and MAs and an ATR, like the most simplest thing. None of this fancy, like I know a lot of people have talked about like Lux, Algo, and all these fancy things. And like, it's just not worth you, especially if you're doing it long-term, like all these fancy indicators. Learn to do it for yourself. It's going to take a lot of time, but after you learn to do it for yourself, you're going to be an absolute professional in this field. You're not going to worry about like, oh my gosh, anything that happens is going to be like, okay, no matter what. So yeah, so very, very good platform to use. Recommend it for absolutely everyone. And then the coolest thing, one thing that I would actually recommend is go into indicators. The few indicators I would recommend are Watermark. Watermark is simply this thing up here, which tells you your time frame, your broker, or the what do you call this? Like asset type, so like Forex, and then you can put like something custom here, your name or whatever you want, a cool phrase. I know some people have their own phrases or whatever. Yeah, so you place whatever you want here, and this helps out a lot because when you go into photo, you can copy your image, and now it's on my clipboard right here. Or even better, you can copy the link to the image, and it will copy a link that you can send to anyone, and then when they click on it, they can go see your image. So yeah, that is how I use TradingView. Another really cool platform or cool trick that you can do that I use actually quite often is if you hold shift and then you tap anywhere, it's going to open up this kind of like ruler type thing where you can see how many candles have passed in what time. And then like if you want to see what percent this market moved since this candle, for example, you can see, oh, it moved 0.22%. Or even better, if you want to calculate the lot size for, or not a lot size, the number of pips or ticks that your SL is going to be. Like, let's suppose I wanted to take a long over this high with my low right under here. I'll just simply click shift, drag under, and you can see, oh, negative 0.31. And that's going to be the number of ticks or units your stop is going to be, or negative 3.1 or 3.1. In that case, you can't have negative stop loss. I mean, technically you could, but don't worry about it. And yeah, that's really it. You have some very quick buy and sell buttons when you're connected to your broker. If the market's moving and you trade differently and you don't want to like trade the way we do, feel free to use those buttons. You can change the number of contracts or whatever it might be. Really, really cool stuff. And then one more really cool thing that I have used, but I no longer use because I prefer to do it myself, are screeners. So if you go into screeners, this is one of the more advanced tools that TradingView has. You can actually sort through all these different markets. And I actually used to see this. You can see the variables I used. But I'd look at market with 10 billion and above, and then you can go and sort by percent change or performance. If we want a market that's performed 30% and above, you can go and look at, oh, NVIDIA has been kind of going crazy. You click on NVIDIA. You can close your screener, and you go do your analysis on NVIDIA. And it's like, oh shit, this market was pretty good. Now it kind of fell off, but that's okay. And then you can just go down the list looking at different things that you think might be good. You can create your own screener depending on variables that you think are justifiable. Now down the road, I will give you a general set of rules and things that are really, really going to help you. Just because I've been down the road where you're trading an asset. I remember, I'm going to give you a quick little story. I was trading, I think it was lean hogs. Yeah, I think it was something like this, or cattle. I think it was cattle actually, down here. Yeah, so I was trading cattle, and it was maybe 5-6 p.m. after rollover. And the reason I say this little tool up here is very important is because every market, especially when you're trading across several markets like Forex, it's very simple. Opens on Sunday at my given time zone at like 7 p.m. and then closes on Friday at around 3 p.m. You want to have everything closed more ideally by like 12 p.m. my time. But remember, down here, I forgot to mention this, but go and set your time zone so all the things up here show up properly, right? But market is closed, and it'll tell you, oh, it's going to open in a day in 17 hours. Well, what ended up happening is I ended up placing a trade because I thought cattle futures would follow the same market hours as every other market like gold and silver. So I'd placed a trade like 15 minutes before market close. And even worse, if you jump down to the, I'd say 20-minute. I know a lot of you guys don't understand like what any of this means quite yet, but I will break it down in the next few videos, how to read price action, all that. But this is a volume indicator down here that I use quite frequently. And if you look here on the top left, it's going to show you the value for the indicator, for the volume. So if I go to any one candle, you can see as I scroll through, it will show you the volume. And the volume is simply a number of contracts traded within this given time frame. So within this 20-minute candle, each of them, it will show you the number of contracts traded. And so what happened was I traded maybe somewhere around, let's suppose this time, just as an example. I set my vertical line here, and you can go and see, oh, the volume was 130 contracts traded in these 20 minutes. And what ended up happening is with my 300K account, or whatever it might have been, I went to place an order right here on the 5-minute. So imagine jumping down even lower. Let me replay. I jump down even lower, and I want to set a buy stop right over this high. And let's suppose I get tapped in. Let's see if I do. Okay, I got tapped in. 300K at 0.6% risk with a lot size of 1, assuming every asset's going to have different lot size. That means I was opening up, this might not be right, might be 100,000. No, definitely just 1. And if you go on the internet, you can look up different lot sizes for different assets and commodities and what it might be. But what actually ended up happening was I had to open up a total of, I think it was 15 contracts. And when you step up to the 20-minute, which is going to be our validation time frame, which I'll teach later down the road in the next few videos, as I jump up, I saw, oh shit, the number average of traded contracts was about 80, 100, 150 at most. Like, look at these numbers as I skip through them. 15, 20, 19. That means that For those 20 minutes, effectively, I was the largest contributor in the market. And a general rule of thumb, which once again, I will break down in the future, I know it can be very confusing right now, is to stay under 1 to 5% of the entire market volume. And that's why as you scale an account, as you make more and more money, you're going to lose a lot more money trading on the lowers. And that's why you see more of the professional, very, very rich traders. Warren Buffett is a very good example, like Apple. They trade on very, very high timeframes on the daily. So Apple, we did an analysis on this a long time ago where we broke down Warren Buffett's trades and what he was doing and how we can kind of, this is where we would actually start looking for entries, get entered, and we ride it all the way up to the top. If we see our percent change through the tools I showed you, that would have been a 50% increase in your account if you traded the way Warren Buffett trades, even less potentially, assuming you have like a stop loss somewhere down here. But the way most traders actually trade, if you want to think long-term, is their stop loss is when the company goes bankrupt. So if you drag this all the way down to 0, this will actually teach you a little bit about risk and reward and why it's very important for risk management, which once again, you will learn. But this is how most traders trade. They don't have a stop loss, and their stop loss is whenever the company goes bankrupt. And so if you notice, the risk to reward is always going to be under 1 unless the asset makes over 100% increase, way more than 100% increase. Like to get to 1 RR, to get a 1-to-1 return for your investment, it'd have to make 100% return, right? Double it. So yeah, that's very unlikely. It's definitely plausible. If you look at the history of Apple back in the early days, the earlier you invested, the better off you were, because you invested here, your SL would be at break even or at 0. And yeah, you would have made phenomenal returns, but that's not how we trade. Instead, we focus on lower time frames to the point of your scalability, unless you have to trade higher, which is perfectly acceptable. You're going to follow the same thought process, the same strategy, the same everything, except you're going to be on higher time frames. So yeah, that is risk and reward, just kind of breaking it down for you. Risk and reward is simply a measure of how much you're risking for how much you're getting rewarded and how much risk is for your loss, if that makes sense. So if you lose here, you're going to lose 1 RR, which is simply 1 risk. Versus if you gain here and you go 1 to 3, you're going to win 3 times your risk. So very, very simple. It can get a little confusing at first, especially when you start taking partials. Let's suppose price move to here. You take a 50% partial at 1.5 R. That means you only have 50% of your position remaining. So when you get to the 3 RR mark, you're going to multiply that by 0.5. So we can do the math real quick. So 3 RR, and you're only getting 50% of that return. So that means that if you want to close the rest of your position at here, your net RR is going to be slightly under 3 RR because you partialed 50% of your position here. So you can go ahead and do the math from there. But like here, this is going to be the remaining position you have left. So if you have 3 times 0.5, you're going to have 1.5 R, and then you can multiply that by, let me think, you're going to have this much percent of your position running, which is going to be 1.5, and then you close the rest. So I think 3, yeah. So this is going to be, okay. This is going to be the number of contracts you have, multiply it by 0.5. So let's suppose you move half. So let's say you have 10 contracts. Then you delete half of them. And right here, you're going to partial out the rest of your, or close out the rest of your whatever contracts you have remaining. So it's going to be 5 contracts here, 5 contracts here. Then you can calculate the profit made on each. Personally, I haven't had to do this in the longest time, as you can tell, because TradingView does it all for you. Now, it doesn't take a long time to learn, but it can definitely slow your progress as you're trading live. So this is why I love TradingView. You just set your position, boom. You can set a partial here, 50% off, and then you just let it do whatever it wants, and then you just move your line to break even right here, and you're solid. So amazing, amazing tool. And then down here, you get news, you get earnings, whatever it might be. It gives you the results of it. Personally, I don't really trade stocks right now, but I will be getting into them here pretty soon as I scale my positions and whatnot. But yeah, aside from that, that is TradingView for you guys. Now, like I said, you can program your own things. You can test your different strategies. I do not recommend this. I do not use it, but many people do. So you can load up a strategy. If you want, people have all these pre-made strategies. So like if you want the RSI strategy, you can test the performance of it. And these are actually bots that will effectively trade for you, or signals. And people like program these. Once again, if you're looking for real long-term profitability, that is not having codependence. This is the way to do it. One more final thing that some of you might have trouble with, that I once had a problem with. Hey, you can see I bought here and I sold here, 2 contracts. But you can go into your strategy tester. Let me close this. And then, yeah, you get all sorts of different tools. Where to go? You can look at the performance, what trades it took. Like I said, I've messed around with this, but don't recommend it for anyone, because that's not what we're about here. So close that. And yeah, this is TradingView. I'm trying to think of any other things I might be missing. They just added some new tools. These are the economic calendars, but do not use these, and I will tell you why here in a second. Now, going to economic calendars, we're going to jump into our thing, and we're going to go into my FX book. My FX book is what I use every single time for economic calendars. It has been the most accurate. I've done testing between my FX book and what's the other one? My FX book. Anyhow, don't worry about any other ones. This has been the most representative and best. And I simply stay out of the market when there is high impact news. Whenever there's low or medium news, personally, you are so good to trade. Once again, not financial advice. You can do whatever you want and you will be liable for whatever you do. But yeah, this is high impact news. I just simply choose to stay away from it an hour before, an hour after. Once again, I will dive deep into this when it's time to really start trading, but as of right now, it's just learning the fundamentals of TradingView. Now, I'm going to very, very briefly touch on a tool called FX Replay that I personally use every single day. And this is what I use to backtest. It's been the best tool ever. I will show you a quick little demo if I'm signed in. Yep. Right here, you have your backtests. Let's go back to the dashboard. You have all the different backtests you might want to do, and then you can go create a new backtest. Your account balance, all these different assets that you can trade, the start date and your end date, and then you can add specific titles to them if you want to save them or you're doing particular system tests. But you can go into here, and after you perform your backtest, I'll show you what it looks like. They use the exact same. I think they also have a partnership with TradingView because they use their charts. You have an analysis tools. It's going to look exactly the same as what I have on my real TradingView. And this is phenomenal because when I go from backtesting to real live market conditions, can you guys tell a difference? They both look exactly the same. The execution's the same. Everything's the same. And this is why I preach them so much. Not only are they really awesome, they also wanted to work with me in a sponsorship type thing, partnership. So yeah, this is absolutely amazing. And I always recommend them. They're coming out with a new FX Replay here in a couple days, which is going to be fully updated, ramped up. So yeah, you perform your backtest here. You want to play a candle forward. You just click this button, and then you can continue looking at the market. This actually looks like a nice setup for me. So depending on where we close, this is a very nice entry buy stop. Another tool. I want to see how long it's been since news. It's been 2 hours, so I'm valid to take this long. Volume's looking okay. I'm always looking at all these different things, and this is why this is wonderful. It's an exact replica of what it looks like when I'm trading live. So yeah, once again, looking for longs here. Take my entry. Now I'm going to continue my data collection in another video, but this is a data collection that I'm working on right now. Then if you click on here, left click, analytics, you can duplicate, edit, whatever you might want to do, but I just use the analytics toolbar. You can come here and look at your returns. You can look at all these awesome values that I'm going to teach you guys how to utilize. One of my favorite analytics right here is average trade duration for both of them. And what that simply lets me know is that if I'm going to take a loss, on average, I'm going to know within the first 11 minutes if it's going to be a profitable trade or not. That's actually a very wonderful statistic because I know a lot of people are like very worried about, is this trade going to win? Is it not? Whatever it might be. You get a lot more statistics here. One of the things that I love about this is that you get to see how you performed every single day of the year. And one thing I like to look for is no more than 2 losses per day. This day I took 2 losses per day, didn't touch it again, and then I got a 10 RR winner. This day I got a 2 RR loss, so that means I simply lost 2 trades, and then I didn't touch it. And then next month comes by, I got 1 loss, no winner, huge winner. But notice every month, if we want to go through the statistics real quick, we got 2 good trades this month. Think about that. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 good trades this month. Okay, that's pretty okay. On average, that's 1 trade a week. Think about that, guys. 1 trade a week. 2 good trades this entire month on this asset. People completely do not understand what it means to be profitable. You get Monte Carlo simulations here, so you can see the profitability of your system as it's starting out. So if you want, I usually do about 100 trades per simulation and 20 trades. So what this kind of represents is if you're starting an evaluation account, or this is what I use it for. You can multiple uses for this. But given the statistics of this given backtest, you can look at you can look at different simulations to see what it would have started out to look like. So if you look at all these different lines, they're going to be simulations ran with the current statistics that you have. So if some of the trades, some of the lines are going to start in drawdown and then continue going up. And so what I'll do, I'll lower this to like 5 simulations so we can see the data a little clearer. Like this one went below and you can see the low. So you get your minimum balance, you get your average balance, and you get your maximum balance for the best trades, and clearly the red is the maximum balance, which was 1064, 1,000,064. Yeah, so very, very awesome tools. I think that's your ending balance. Yeah, so your max ending balance is going to be that, your minimum, and then your average, which is very, very helpful to know short term if your system is good under the current risk parameters to pass evaluations. This is a very nice tool. And you can clearly see with the current statistics of this equity curve, you would have passed your evaluation with the first few trades. But on average, like this one would have been a nice drawdown for a little bit, and then you finally crawled out of it, and then you would have started making profits, whatever, cashed out, whatever you do. I don't really care what you do. But yeah, average return for this entire backtest has been okay, about 15 a month, 30 a month, 15, 53. So I'd say about an average of 30 a month, 30% a month, which is okay. Generally, I'll get a lot higher, but given the market condition, you can clearly see we've undergone some really nice drawdown, nice drawdown, very nice drawdown. Like, I think I remember this. We went over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 trades of break-evens. Like, just imagine that, guys. And a lot of people don't consider that kind of stuff. But yeah, I have all these different backtests that I do. I get on calls with different people. Really, really cool. Like here again, I got 2 good trades in January. 1, 2, 3. 3 good trades in February. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 in February or March. 1, 2, 3. Yep. So you can look at all these different statistics and see 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So on average, you can expect around 4 trades a month, and that's good. And yeah. So once again, I don't want to dive too deep into this, but I want to introduce it to you guys because it is a tool that I really recommend for you guys to use. You can also see different statistics. I used to do this all in an Excel, and you could just imagine how annoying that got. So on Sunday, you can see I got 0 profitable trades. On Monday, Mondays on average are very profitable. Tuesdays, also very profitable. Wednesdays, they're okay. We need more data, of course, but Thursday, very profitable, and Friday, very profitable. So the only day you should really be staying out of the market is Sunday. Or like this one. A lot of people say that Fridays are very unprofitable or whatever, and I would actually say the opposite on this data collection. It's one of my more profitable days. Sunday, unprofitable, once again. So just simply don't trade on Sundays. It's that simple. Monday, profitable. Tuesday, profitable. Wednesday, profitable. Thursday, profitable. Everyone, a lot of people, not everyone, a lot of people stay out of the market on Fridays because they say, oh, the market this, but they don't have the data to back it up. And so when I go back and do all my back tests, I have over 200,000 collected trades this year already. So you can see how those add up. And they're not through FX Replay. I have my own platform that I collect them on, which I showed in the intro video if you haven't seen that yet. But yeah, you can kind of see your statistics here. You won't see any losing day greater than -2 RR, which is very powerful. Definitely recommend this for everyone. And yeah, so that is it for this particular one. I just wanted to demonstrate the main tools that we'll be using, and then different markets, I think we'll dive into the next few videos, introducing stocks, funds, futures, forex, crypto, how they're all different, how to scale everything, because of course your position sizing is going to be very different on every single one. Now, one more final thing that I saw a while ago, I think it was 2 months ago or even further, I did an analysis on Bitcoin on one of my videos. Now, this was my overall analysis. This is a position we got a long time ago, and it's still going. So really, really cool stuff. But it just kind of goes to show how profitable this can be. I'm going to remove this. But yeah, Bitcoin, this was our overall analysis. Sorry, let me jump down to the daily so you can see a little bit more clearly. We're anticipating this long range of just chop. So I'd kind of just like chop. And what we're anticipating is for some sideways price action, which if you see is actually what we're undergoing right now. We're undergoing this point right now. You see we undercut everything. If you just want to like scale it differently, chop, grew out of it sideways. If anything, I'm going to update this just a little bit down. And then this is what I'm anticipating. And so I remember last week, I had someone ask me like, hey, what do you think is going to happen with Bitcoin? And I simply told them it's going to go down and then it's going to set up. That is exactly what I'm anticipating. Now, a couple of things can happen here. This can completely fail down and I'm not even touching the market, so it didn't matter. Or it can set up and then it fails down, no entry, or it goes and gives me my entries. So either way, it doesn't matter if your analysis is correct. It matters if you got entered into the market given your analysis. And so, yeah, I have my analysis right now and it's playing out perfectly. This is exactly what I've been anticipating this entire time. And I'm just staying out of the market. Now, given lower time frame traders, of course, you can come in here and get in your scalps. Here, let me go to a different chart. Oh, I have another drawing on this one too. Let's see what I wrote. Yeah, like this has been my analysis all along. And this is where I project it to, around 100 grand, if we get those moves that we're anticipating. But like 4 hour, yeah, there's nothing to do right now. But all these longs, yeah, you can scalp them up. Phenomenal entry. Like I'm going to jump down just so you kind of get an idea of what I do. But if you're backtesting or if you're just getting started and you're learning the concepts that I'm teaching you throughout these next few videos, go into the actual TradingView replay. Don't even replay. Go and just highlight areas where you think, oh, he would be trading. Look at specific types of price action. I'd be looking for entries anywhere within, let me jump back up to the 4 hour to see where. I'll draw a vertical line where I'd start looking for longs, which is on this very candle. Then I jump down to the hourly, look for validation. Where did I place it? There it is. Okay, jump down to the 20-minute and be like, okay, where would he be scalping his entries? Now, I'm going to give you a little glimpse of where I would have taken entries. Potential entry here. Sorry. No. Potential entry here. Fails down. Nothing. Entry here. Nice little runner. Entry here. Break even. Entry here. Break even. Or potential partial, depending on where your stop loss is at. Entry here. Nice little runner. And potential entry, no. If anything, it'd be over this high. A break even or a loss. Entry here. Potential partial into this strength. And your final entry here. And this is where you're at in this move. Yeah. Now, this is the 20-minute. So you jump down to the 5-minute and find a proper stop loss for you. Like for me, it'd be right over this high. And then since we didn't get tapped in, I'd use some low like this. ATR. Looking at ATR, it's probably going to be a little messed up, but like 90. So that's half ATR, which is what I like to target. And then you're in your position, you take a break even or a partial, whatever it might be. So yeah, that's the way I like to look at the market. I know it's a very, very brief introduction, but at least I'll get you. It's about seeing it enough times where your brain, for me, it's kind of like photographic memory of, oh yeah, I've seen this before. It's just slightly different, but it's all the same stuff. So TradingView and FX Replay, that is your main introduction to these tools. Download them on your phone, on your iPad, on your computer, whatever it might be, because when you set alerts, often I'll be out. Here, let me get rid of the replay. When you're out and about, you can just set your alert, add alert, create, and you'll get an alert to your phone, and then you're ready to start looking at the market again. So very, very cool stuff. I'm going to actually get rid of this. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy, and hopefully this hasn't been too long of a video. Oh shit, an hour? Okay, so I hope you guys understand what we're actually doing here. And yeah, this is your main introduction video where we're going to build off everything from this main understanding. Once again, you don't have to watch this video if you're already somewhat proficient, but at least hopefully you learned some shortcuts or something. But yeah, go visit our website, go learn more about us, see what we stand for. If you're interested in learning, go here, click get started, watch our main introductory video where I kind of introduce myself, who am I, what's my experience, what am I after. And then if you go into about, you will learn exactly what our mission is. This is our mission for you. And we're here to just help you out, right? Helping you out will also help us out, because as I learn, as I teach, I learn more, and different ways of teaching can help other people as well. So wonderful stuff. I hope you guys enjoy the new updated channel that's about to be released with a ton of awesome videos where I'm going to break everything down. Let me pull up my notes real quick and just give you a very quick summary of what we're going to be doing coming soon. The YouTube channel very quickly is going to be broken up into 3 different sections, which is going to include the market fundamental structures. So just like, first of all, this is our main introductory video to introduce TradingView, which is going to be the main platform that we're going to be using for analysis and whatnot. And then section 2 is going to be institutional supply and demand, but it's going to be a lot deeper than that. So we will dive right into that. And then very last part, for this particular playlist will be the Wyckoff Mastery, which is going to be the advanced schematics and professional level insights for that a little bit more. And yeah, cool. Alrighty, that's it.